All right, what up? This is Nolan Ulm here, guys. Super excited to have a little interview here with an awesome guest that we got on. We're gonna be talking to Dima today. Dima, why don't you just introduce yourself? Where you're from, what you do for work, and yeah, we'll go from there.
I'm Dimitri. I'm a fishing guide out of northern British Columbia. Um, yeah, I get paid to fish. I spend a lot of my time in the wilderness, but yeah, that's about it.
Yeah, right
Just
on, man. Well,
not much to it.
yeah, dude. I mean,
So
that's a pretty sweet job, just like we were talking about. So I'm excited to get into this, man. We've been on a journey, right, Dima? We've been on a long journey together. So
yeah,
let's just take it back to the beginning of the program. Give
yeah.
me a rundown where you're at before we jumped into this thing.
Well, before we jumped in on this, I was so lost back in middle school. I used to play a ton of sports, used to be super active. I was in relatively okay shape. And then I ended up having some injuries and ended up letting myself go. And I went from being having a bit of a six pack to being a little heavier than I wanted to be. So I decided to change things. And yeah, I kept seeing your content all over the place, and I'm like, you know what, maybe I should. So I ended up reaching out, and yeah, I decided I needed a change. I wasn't in the shape that I was when I was younger.
Yeah,
So
100%. So walk me through, man. Like what was it like getting into this program, getting back into a good regimen and routine? What
yeah.
what were the results like?
Honestly, at first I was like, because I didn't do a ton of meal prep stuff, I wasn't super familiar with counting and doing all the like making sure I'm measuring everything, and I didn't understand body science at all. So having it explained to me at the beginning definitely took a weight off, because at first I was like, am I gonna be able to do this? This is kind of challenging. And then once I kind of figured out how to simplify it, like it was kind of a breeze, and I'm like, well, this is easy. And it was not long until I started seeing results, like whether that be mentally, physically, like just in general. I was starting to have better sleeps at night, or oh, I haven't seen that muscle in a while, and you know,
Yeah, that's awesome.
so
Yeah, and so we got into it, right? And like you said, even initially, right?
yeah,
Like, we raised your food first, which was probably
yeah,
a little bit surprising to you.
yeah.
But talk about, once we did start to really like cut that weight down, what was that
Yeah.
like?
Honestly, it felt good, and I could notice it every day. I'd wake up, and I used to struggle with like sore knees or sore back, and I was like, yeah, this hurts. But once I started dropping the weight, like all that pain started to slowly go away. My body recovery started to speed up. So I'd wake up in the morning feeling way better than I used to. So,
Yeah, that's awesome.
so
And I mean, from where we started to where you are now, like give
yeah.
me like how different is life now for you?
Honestly, life is so easy. Like I can I can go running for a couple kilometers and not be absolutely gassed out by the end of it. I've gained all my mobility back from injuries, and just my overall body health has improved like drastically.
Yeah. And how much weight total was it again that we're down?
I don't even remember what I started at, but
Pretty
it's
sure it's
definitely
like,
like 20 something almost.
yeah, I feel like
Or
we
just
almost even are
over.
at 30
Oh,
pounds
yeah,
down.
I've lost count. I've just been
See, isn't that crazy?
putting the work in, and it's been coming off. I just weigh myself every morning and
Yeah.
keep track.
No, and I remember when you hit 30 pounds
Yeah,
down because it was a big,
yeah,
big deal, man. And I remember when we first talked, you were not happy with where you were at. So it's
yeah.
awesome to see that you're feeling this way. How was the training, right? Like you talked about the mobility, but like how were the training cycles? Like getting into really like probably felt a little bit like when you were an athlete again, right? Stuff that you were
Yeah,
doing.
so I used to spend a little bit, like when I was in sports and stuff and competitive skiing, I spent quite a bit of time in the gym and all that good. And then, yeah, I didn't hit the gym. I'd go occasionally, and then it would probably have been 5 years ago. I was like, well, I'm gonna start going to the gym again, and I was completely clueless. So having it broken down into having proper, like having workouts planned for me, getting into it at first was a little tough. Like definitely had to kind of start from scratch and things were a little tough, but now they're like I'm almost lifting double my weight in some of my workouts, and so
Yeah, that's I mean,
now
double your weight.
it's becoming easy. So
Yeah, then that's insane.
yeah.
Though that strength jump is incredible.
Yeah.
Where do you feel like you're at now? Because some people, when they do programs like this, right, like they lose like the 30 pounds that you did, which is
Yeah.
incredible, but they
Yeah.
regain it, or it is really a temporary fix. Like,
Yeah.
where do you feel like you're at with your lifestyle, and especially the way that we did it with, the refeeds and the metabolic priming, to where, like, how do you feel now?
Honestly, I feel good. I'm at the point where like I think I can handle like keeping up with this. The only thing I think that I would have trouble with is when to say eat more, or like to know when my body needs to eat more or eat less, or have more carbs or have less carbs. But for the most part, like the meals I've made for the last, well, we're probably closing in on close to a year.
Yeah.
Like they're easy, they taste delicious, and like I could eat that for the rest of my life almost.
See, and that's incredible,
So
man. Like, you're at this new weight and you don't notice any changes, right? Like, you're not just starving and want to just
no,
gorge out and get back to that weight. Like, this is now your new, like, this is a whole new base that you've created, which is incredible.
yeah.
What were some of your hesitations before you jumped in, right? Like, you talked about you had your injuries, but like, what else were you a little hesitant with before getting into this program?
Well, when I first found out, it was more of just can I commit to it? Like can I have the mental like to keep on track, not get distracted, make sure I'm hitting all my goals every day. It
Yeah.
was all a lot of mental.
Right. And you talked about it, right? Like, you're so busy.
Yeah.
Before we got on here, you're talking about that you're waking up at 2:45 in the morning, right? And you
Yeah.
were doing graveyards already with your other job. Like you said, like,
Yeah.
how are you able to fit all this stuff in? Like, some people think they need to spend hours in the gym doing this and that, and it takes so long, so much effort to raise your food. What's your perspective on that?
It at first it was hard to kind of figure out a schedule that worked for me on the graveyards, but I found like if I just say eat at the same time, or like eat dinner at this time and then go to the gym. I found it easy and the same thing when I moved up here, I just kind of had to find the balance of what are my schedules going to look like and when can I fit everything in. The nice thing up here, like we've kind of got a set breakfast and dinner schedule. So that makes it easy. And then I just pack my lunch and kind of eat that halfway through the day. But once you can kind of get into a rhythm of, say, you wake up at 5 a.m., eat breakfast at 7, and then say 4 hours later, you eat lunch. And then say you want to go work out after that, and then chill, and then eat dinner. Or if you're working, and depending on day shift, night shift, take your breakfast, work, and try and eat lunch at kind of the same time every day.
Yeah.
But I've kind of gotten into the rhythm of okay, eat at this time, drink water at this time, work out at this time, and I just kind of get into a rhythm.
Yeah. And it's
And
just
I and then I found out that I've still got all this free time to like I ended up realizing I have way more free time than I thought. So
that's great. That's awesome. So, like we were talking about earlier, right before you came into the program, like, you were ready for a change, and you'd been watching the content, but maybe you hadn't taken action yet. What
yeah.
would you say to someone that is in the shadows, that's struggling with where they're at right now?
Something that I would definitely say is do it. Like I've had zero regrets since I started. I've haven't really been the biggest on kind of committing to things like this. And I just, I bit my teeth, I went, okay, I'm gonna do this. I did it, and I just didn't look back on my previous self. I've just been in it for the better. I would highly recommend just doing it and just not thinking twice and just committing.
Yeah, that's awesome, man. That's awesome. Well, Dima, it's been a pleasure talking to you today, man. I know that there's people out there that are going to be listening to this that your story, your journey is going to inspire them to do the same. So if you are somebody who's struggling, that's looking to get in the best shape of your life and get back to where maybe you were before, right?
Yeah.
You can click the link down below. There'll be a call. You guys can jump on a call with us, or you can go to my Instagram and DM me shred. But I hope you guys enjoyed this interview. Subscribe for more awesome talks with people like Dima, and we'll see you guys in the next one. Make it happen. Out.